Morning, everyone. Morning. I know everyone's muted, so you can't say good morning back, but thanks for the messages. Looks like we're getting a good turnout this morning, which is excellent. I'm so the presentation will end up on our website, so you don't have to worry about that or take too many notes. So we will have the that up. I see I'm getting lots of good mornings. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about key indicators today. So, and version 11. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. And I'm just going to, if you don't mind, I'm just going back here. I'm just going to take the camera off. Yeah, morning. So today we're just an overview of version 11, the benefits of key indicators, thanks to ChatGPT, which is my best friend because it does half my work for me. Then I'll just quickly take you through what the key indicator enhancements are in version 11, and then a demo on how to create key indicators. And if we get time, how do you upgrade to version 11? I think we'll get to just a quick run through of that because it is definitely worth trying to get onto version 11 when you can. We have had it out for quite some time. We now on version 11.3, which has got some nice changes, especially in audit. 11.1 was risk, 11.2 was risk, 11.3's got some audit changes, and 11.4, which is coming out soon, will have some even nicer changes in internal audit. So yeah, 11 version 11 is the way to go. So this is I just thought what we could do is a quick recap on how BarnOwl hangs together. You've got sitting in the middle there are really three main modules: the risk, the compliance, and the internal audit. There are two components to BarnOwl. There's the desktop app, and what we used to call BarnOwl Lite, we are now calling BarnOwl Web. So there's a web interface. I always explain to people it's like two different windows looking into a room. So it's exactly the same database sitting in the middle in the room. One window is through the what we call the Rich or the BarnOwl app, which is your desktop app, and the other window is BarnOwl Web, which is a slightly it's a much nicer looking interface, and it's designed more for the end user as opposed to the administrator. So a lot of administration work is still done on the BarnOwl desktop app, but most of the using of the system is going to be done by the it will be done using the BarnOwl web app. The part of risk management, which I think most people will be aware of, there's some really you can create any kind of incident management registers in the system. Health and safety, tip-offs, burglaries, robberies. You can create any kind of customized incident management register that works in the BarnOwl web as well as BarnOwl the BarnOwl app. We called it in this slide performance management, and that's really what the focus will be today. We call them key indicators. So key indicators are basically you can link a key indicator to an objective. Then we call it a KPI. That's debatable, the name, but we call it a KPI. When it's linked to a risk, we call it a key risk indicator. And when it's linked to a control, we call it a KCI, a key control indicator. And the whole idea is to link key indicators to the relevant areas and to essentially turn your risk management or BarnOwl into a living dashboard rather than than risks and controls that get updated, on a quarterly basis, or when you do a risk reassessment or control assessment. There's the workshop module. There are quite a few clients using that. That's where you can sit with keypads and you can vote on risks and controls. The slide's a bit outdated. I must get it up to date. The BarnOwl Lite is now called BarnOwl Web. And then the open license is essentially the free license to unlimited users within your organization. So BarnOwl runs in an intranet, and the open licenses allow everyone to respond to their action plans. So they can't create new action plans, but any action plans that are created by either a web license or by the desktop license, the open license, which is still the web interface, but it's a license that allows people to respond to action plans, allows users to respond or complete voting. That's risk and control self-assessments. Checklists and surveys can be sent out. And again, the slide's a little bit outdated. I'm bad. Under that open license is the ability for key indicator owners to fill in or to complete what the key indicator value. It could be a monthly key indicator, could go right down to daily key indicators, but it's monthly, quarterly, annual key indicators. Then we got the whole reporting at the top here and the business intelligence. So one of the big changes we made in version 11 was that we have now included some really extensive Power BI dashboards that are linked directly to the BarnOwl database, not to the warehouse. So from a business intelligence perspective, you can get a lot of value out of the Power BI linked directly to the BarnOwl database. We still have the warehouse. The warehouse can do more, but it's really for big organizations, and it's also often for where you've got an IT department that actually want to interact and create their own reports. Then the warehouse, the business intelligence warehouse, is pretty useful and a lot easier to work with for people that don't know the back end of BarnOwl. But the Power BI dashboards that run directly off the database that are part of version 11 are extensive, and I'll go through some of those at the end of this presentation. I think you can see that this is courtesy of ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT what some of the advantages or benefits of key indicators are, and it's done a much better write-up than I could have done. But essentially what I love about key indicators is it brings risk management to life. So there's always that, risk management is part science and part art, and some of the complaints are that it's too subjective, and you rate your controls how you feel. I'm not talking so much on an audit side. I'm talking on the management side. You think things are working. You rate risks a little bit, without all the detail. So what key risk indicators do and key indicators do is they are real metrics of whether you're achieving results or not achieving results. So they really do guide you when you're rating controls or risks or objectives with live, I call them live metrics. We do have the ability to integrate key indicators into a data analytics tool. We've done it with Arbutus, which is it's a Canadian product that's quite a very, very powerful data analytics tool. That would be analyzing, say, millions of transactions, looking for process errors or fraud, or you've got to set up tests, and those can integrate with your key control indicators or key risk indicators and essentially provide you with continuous risk monitoring. But the other option is that, owners of key indicators complete their key indicators on, let's say, a monthly basis, and that then provides input to the control or the risk to say whether the risk needs to be re-rated or the control needs to be re-rated. So that's the key indicators. The heading there I've put in there is bringing risk management to life, which is great. So some of the changes made in version 11, we are key indicators always used to have a period just from January to December. As we know, most of our public sector departments run from, well, all of them run from 1st of April to 31st of March, and municipalities run from July to June. So you can now configure your particular financial period. I mean, it applies to private sector as well with their different financial periods. And it just then aligns your key indicators with your financial period, which is very useful from a reporting perspective and also capturing perspective. So, month April is actually month 1 in the example I'm going to show you. The other problem in the previous versions of BarnOwl were that you couldn't, so key indicators, so if you'd captured a key indicator, let's say 3 months ago, or if I'd captured a key indicator 3 months ago, I could go in there and change it. I could go and change January's key indicator, which is a nightmare because, if you've already, as management or the risk department, if you've already drawn reports and people are changing key indicators in previous periods, it's not great. It's not an accurate reflection. So now, what in this version you can actually close off key indicator periods, so that, for example, where are we now? We're in July. I could go and close off the June period, which means that no one can capture key indicators for June. They could only capture key indicator values for in July. If there was someone that then, if I was the administrator and someone calls me and says, "Oh, I didn't capture my values for June," I can actually open the period for them to capture their June values and then close the period again. Yeah, sorry, we'll have questions and answers at the end. I'm just gonna, I can't see the chat box or anything like that, and I'm sure Cheryl will come in if there is anything, but we'll keep the questions Q&A for the end, and then I can answer your questions. But you can still type questions in the chat box if you want to, and there are some of our team are online and they can answer you. Of the capturing of KI values, those are for the owners. The version 11 web interface is really easy to use and very intuitive, so easy to see what's on your plate in terms of, risk reassessments, key indicator values from the web interface. And then the reassessment triggers. So this is important. In the older version of BarnOwl, in version 10, if any key indicator changed, then it would trigger a reassessment. In version 11, you can actually set, well, I only want this risk reassessment to trigger if, for example, the key indicator's gone from yellow to red. In other words, I don't want to triggering a reassessment of the risk if it's gone from yellow to green, for example. So the idea of reassessments is, not sure if everyone uses it, but if linked to a risk, essentially you've got controls, you've got loss events or incidents, and you've also got key indicators. the idea is if any of those, if a control rating changes or a key indicator now goes into the red or breaches a threshold, then you'll see a little exclamation mark ends up next to the risk. And it means that this risk needs to be, the rating of this risk needs to be looked at because something that's linked to the risk has changed. So, and it does send out, it can be configured to send out email notifications to the owners of the risk so that you get a notification. But it's very easy to see the exclamation marks against either the risks or the controls that need to be where their rating needs to be relooked at. So the things that'll trigger a reassessment on a risk are risks linked to risks. In other words, parent-child risk. So you might have a parent risk with child risks. If any of those child risks change, then it's going to trigger a reassessment. Any controls linked to a risk, whether they linked through contributing factors or whether they're linked directly to the risk, will trigger a reassessment. And then any key indicator that breaches breaches a particular threshold will trigger the reassessment, and loss events or incidents that you've linked to risks will also trigger a reassessment of the risk. I don't want to get too much, but obviously if a risk then is linked to an objective and the risk rating changes, it'll trigger a reassessment of the objective. So, and if a control, if key indicators that are linked to controls change, then the control will also have a little exclamation mark next to it to say you should go and re-look at this control to see if you need to rate the effectiveness differently. So the idea is to have a living system, a dashboard that is keeping you up to date with what's going on in your environment. And then we've got extensive reporting on key indicators, both in BarnOwl Web. I'll show you a little bit. There are standard sort of exports in BarnOwl Web of all the registers, but there are also these custom queries that can easily be uploaded into BarnOwl Web that can create, a risk register, a key indicator register, basically customized for your specific requirements. So but there are some generic ones as well. And there's the Power BI. So we'll get to that. So I'm just going to go through these steps here. I'm just 6 steps, and I'm going to jump into the system. So the first thing I'm just going to show you is how to configure financial periods, how to then create and configure a key indicator. Then that's more administration, the risk administrators. Then it would be for the key indicator owner to capture a value, like we're going to capture a monthly one as an example. And then I'm going to show you the risk reassessment that I was talking about now, the reporting, and then how you close a key indicator period. So I'm going to go into BarnOwl Eclipse, into my favorite ABC database. So this is version 11.3 that I've got running here. I'm not going to go in. You can also access some of this server management console. It's all permission controlled, but you can, remember I mentioned the 2 windows. You can access this general setup, for example, from Rich or from BarnOwl Desktop. It actually has a link to this particular page, or you can just go as an administrator, go into BarnOwl Web and get access to the setup. So that step 1 was once-off configuration of financial periods. You can set up financial years. So I've set up a year here that now starts from the 1st of April to the 31st of March. You can actually set up a start month here. I'm not going to change it now. So this is how you set up your years. And then the different period types are, so you could say, well, I'm going to have some monthly key indicators and because of the way I've set up my year, period 1 is April, period 2 May, etc. to March, to March 2025. That's my 2025 year, or 2024-2025 year, and it runs from April to March. For monthly key indicators. For quarterly key indicators, these are my periods. We've got April, July, October, January. So what's going to happen is when you actually capture a key indicator, you can decide whether is it monthly, annual. You can set up more than these periods. You can, well, certainly monthly, annual, and quarterly, but you could set up daily if you wanted to. That's hectic, unless you're running data analytics with Arbutus. But the most people just use quarters, months, and annual, or maybe biannual. So that's step 1. That's a once-off configuration of financial periods. Now I'm going to go to key indicators here. By the way, I might, if there's time, I'll show you can create a customized menu called My BarnOwl. It's actually quite easy to create your own menus. I can click on Manage My BarnOwl. It's okay. I don't know why I can't click on it there. But anyway, I'm going to click on the system, because sometimes the system is a little bit busy. That's basically all the menu options that you've got available. Again, it's all permission controlled, but the My BarnOwl is where you can actually create a slightly different, the menus based on exactly what you want to use in the system. So I'm going to go to key indicators by unit. So you'll see there I've got a unit. So first, maybe actually what I'll do is I'll go to risk management, and I'm going to do risks by unit. So I've captured a risk in the IT in this IT called availability of critical system A. And I now want to actually link a key indicator to this particular risk. So I'm going to actually open the risk. We call this risk on a page. So you would see everything that's linked to the risk. There are 2 ways to see what's linked to a risk. One, you can click on this ellipsis, if I can say that correctly, the menu option, and you can see, because there's nothing linked to this risk, it's not showing anything. But if things were linked, it would show you what objects are linked and what objects are not linked. There's another way also. You can always click on the view button and click on link there as well. Anything that's linked, will be in bold. So right now you can see I've linked nothing to this risk. I haven't linked controls or anything to this particular risk. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to link now a key indicator. So I'm going to say, well, I'd like to link a key indicator to this risk. And it pops up with a search link library key indicator. So this is standard functionality throughout the system. The whole idea is that you don't want, if you were capturing controls or capturing contributing factors, you want a common risk taxonomy. So you want people to search for key indicator, search for something first before they just create a new item in the library. But I'm going to say, well, I can't find anything that I'm looking for here around key indicators. You can see these are my existing key indicators. If I wanted to use a library item, means just one that's already previously been captured in the library, and all of these are automatically, when I capture a new one now, it goes into the library in case someone else wants to use it. They're not, it's just the title and the basic information that come across from the library. But I'm going to say I can't find what I'm looking for, so I'm going to capture a new key indicator, and I'm going to call this system uptime. All right, I've got so I would type system uptime in there. So I've got availability. The risk is availability of critical system A, and I want to measure, or I want a key indicator that's going to be monthly to start telling me whether that system has been up, and what the percentage thresholds are. So I'm gonna the measure name is going to be a percentage of uptime. So these are already in my drop-down box, but you would type these in. The unit of measure is, is it a percentage, is it a number, is it a yes, no? In this particular case, it's going to be percentage of uptime. The financial period, I'm going to say it's a monthly period. I'm just quickly going through these. This particular value here, I've forgotten what the label's called now. Input value calculation is quite useful, quite powerful actually. You can either have most recent. So I'm gonna select most recent. So what that means is it's going to use the most recent key indicator. In other words, you're going to set targets per month for system uptime. We're going to say, well, ideally we'd want it up 100% every single month, but every month I'm going to register how much time this system has been up. The average would take if I selected average, it would add up all the months that I've already captured and get the average of the key indicator values. The cumulative total means that, let's say you've got to meet a sales target or a target of 100 million by the end of the year. The cumulative means that we've got 2 million in January, 5 million in February, 10 million in March, and it's gonna add them up, and that's how the key indicator works, or the thresholds work. So the most simplest one is the most recent, the frequency. Now this you've got to kind of use. I've got it to a fine art, but you've really got it's a mind bender whether you capture it in ascending order or descending order, and you need to get this right. So you need to think through your key indicators first. So in this example, I'm going to, you'll see later, but BarnOwl works, it's got green, yellow, red. So the higher the number, so let's take an example, system uptime. We're going to actually set the system uptime, and we're going to say, well, if the green is 95% up, yellow is 85%, and anything from 0 to 85% is red. So you'll see the numbers are going down, they're descending, 95, 85, 0. So in this particular case, I'm going to capture this key indicator in descending order. If I was capturing, let's say, that we're measuring staff turnover, then the lower the number, the better. So in other words, the lower the staff turnover percentage, the better. Then it would be ascending, because you'd say, well, anything from 0 to say 2% is green, and then it's 2% to 5% is red. So you just need to think through your KIs. If you get stuck, you can ask us. But this particular one, system uptime, I'm capturing in descending order. There's a category, so it's not actually a financial KPI or sales, but that's what I've got in my database. And I'm now going to save and close. And you'll see there's now system uptime, and you'll see that it's added it in here as well. And on this particular risk, if I went here, I've just kind of clicked on the risk, you can view, and you'll see that that's what I was talking about, where you've now got the bold, because I've now got system uptime captured against this. I'm going to go in here. The next phase of this, almost as an administrator, is to set the thresholds, essentially. So you could have basically the same key indicator title in different units, but let's say you've got Joburg, Cape Town, Durban, you could have different thresholds for these key indicators in different areas of your business. So I'm going to go into the target setup, and you'll see that, okay, it should be sorted here, but we will look at that. So I'm going to say that this key indicator, um, the target value is 100%. If I meet my target of system uptime, this is for the key indicator, I'm going to enter 95%, and I'm going to enter, well, yellow to red, sorry, yellow to green will be 85%. So anything between 85 and 95 will be yellow. Anything from 95 to 100% will be green, and anything system uptime from 0% to 85% will be red. So now what you can do is per month, because it might be seasonal key indicators or whatever, you can actually create different target values depending on the different months. But you can also very easily, I'm just going to copy down. So if you right click here, you can copy down the values. You don't have to go and capture them again and again. So I've now copied down the same. I'm measuring the system uptime equally across all the months. I'm now going to go, I'm just going to save this. I'm going to go in and set what we call the thresholds now, or the trigger, how to set up the triggers. So I would like the trigger to trigger when the system uptime is less than 85%. That's when the risk will be triggered to say I've got a problem. So if it goes into the red zone, which is between 0 and 85%, I would like to trigger a reassessment on the risk. So I'm now going to confirm this. You can see you can apply this configuration to all future financial periods. So you don't need to go and set them for every single financial for every period, but you could, again, if it's seasonal, if it was sales or something like that. Sales you would use against an objective, a key performance indicator. So essentially now I've set my I've configured a key indicator. So I'm going to just save and close that. Now what I'm going to do is which I didn't do, is maybe we could just get out of here so I can just show you where we are. One is you can go obviously and look at your risks per unit, which is what I've done here, as I'm on the risks. Another one is I could go to my key indicators, and I could say, well, I want to look at the key indicators by unit. So this is just showing me a list of with the focus on key indicators. And again, if you go into the key indicator, let me just get out of here. Yeah, so I'm going to open this key indicator. I prefer working from the risk screen, but it's no problem. What I didn't add is an owner. So what you will do is you will add an owner. Now, who is the person that's going to fill in the detail? Who owns this key indicator? In other words, to capture the values on a monthly basis. As I say, so in this case, it would be someone from the IT department. If you had data analytics connected up, there is a way to make it more an automated system behind the scenes. But this is manual for now. So I've now created that person as a user. Now, I've actually assigned this key indicator to myself. So if I logged in, for example, you'll see that that my key indicators have popped up. So this is the landing page, and you'll see that because the financial year started in April, it's got little exclamation marks here for system uptime. So there are 3 months values here that I have not captured. I have not captured for April, May, or June. That's why there's an exclamation mark there. So I'm just going to keep it. So that's one way that the owner, when they log in, they can see their action plans, they can see their votes, and they can see their key indicators of what they're meant to be doing. Another way is to, if they go into key indicators, they can click on my key indicators. Now, my key indicators is not dependent on the unit. I'm not in any particular unit. It's a lot like action plans. It's very similar to action plans. So you click on, these are all the key indicators that have been allocated to me as the person logged in here in the top right-hand corner. And you can see it. I've got some sales KPIs, I've got staff loss, and if I keep going down, there's the one that I've just created, the system uptime. And you'll see that I haven't captured for June. Well, July's open, June, May, April. So these periods are still open. If I went to SMC, for example, obviously this would be the administrator that's got there, and I go to this, you'll see that I've still got these periods open. If I wanted to close a period, so you would normally close the periods as you go. So the reason I'm seeing April, May, June is because these periods are still open. I'm going to close a period just now when I show you the closing of a period. So if I just go back to system, I go back to key indicators, and I go to my key indicators. That's where we were. I'm going to go now, as the owner, I'm going to go and I'm going to capture an April key indicator because that month happens to still be open. So you'll see now by clicking on that, it shows me the details. I can't change anything there. It's got the input values, so it's telling me I need to capture a value. And I can go in here and say, capture a value. Now, so the measure dates, because it knows I selected April, so it's the measure dates from the 1st of April to the 30th of April. I'm now going to say, well, we've had a terrible month in April and the system uptime was only 50%. It's shocking. You know, the system's been down. There are these other values that you can, so this is really comes from our Arbutus integration, where it would say, well, I counted 1 million records, I got a total value of 100 million, and the exception count in whatever test was done was 50 records, and the value was 200,000 Rand. So it's more, so you can, but manually you can go and fill these in. But as I say, if it's linked to a data analytics tool, these fields are populated. It also attaches the sample of the failed exceptions, basically, in a particular test. You can attach documents, so evidence of your of why you said it's 50%, and also something we added is I don't have it here. It would have popped up. You can capture custom fields. So a custom field on the actual value itself. So if you wanted additional information to total count, total value, exception count, you can create custom fields on that, and you can attach evidence to say, where did you get the 50% uptime from? So I'm now going to save and close this value. Now you can capture more than one value. I could come back and I could either amend this value if I've made a mistake and say, oopsie, I meant to actually capture 55% there. Or you could capture, if you wanted to, more than one value in the month it'll take the last one that you've captured as the final result. Now, if I'm finished with this, I can click input complete for this period, which means I've actually done the work. So I'm going to tick that, and it says the period value, not the whole period for everyone else in the organization, just for me. I've actually done this work now. I've captured for the value for April. So I'm just going to save and close. You'll now see that because this my key indicators will only show you what's outstanding. So you'll see April's dropped off here now because I've actually done the work. You don't want, when you go to my key indicators, you don't want every single value that you've captured over the last 5 years to pop up here. So it's really just showing you what is outstanding. So it's a bit like an action plan, and it's not showing the complete action plans, the ones that have been completed. So if I wanted to see that, I could go to key indicator period value. So that's a bit different. That basically shows me all my key indicators in this particular unit, and I could select more than one unit. And this is really showing me my values. So you can see there that I can drag these things around and create favorite views. I'm not going to get into that now, but you can see that system uptime, April, I captured 55% and it's in the red. The target value is 100, it's in the red, and you'll also see there's no exclamation mark against it because because it's been done. But that's where you can see all your key indicators. So if I now we might come back and capture the May and June ones, but if I looked at my risk register now, because I've finalized it, if on this key indicator I had not finalized it, I can untick that. If I've made a mistake and the period is still open, as in, remember the administrator controls the periods, I could untick that and I could say, oh, darn it, I've made a mistake. And I could go and change that value and tick on that. Only when the administrator closes the whole April period will I not be able to get back in here at all to change these values. So, but when I say it's finalized, like I've just done, unticked and ticked again. If I just go now to my risk register, I'm going to go to risk by unit. I should see an exclamation mark against availability of critical systems. So it's telling me that something that's linked to this risk has changed. So if I go into the risk, as I say, it's a very simple risk because I haven't even, it's only got key indicators against it. But if I go to the ratings, you will see, okay, I updated that 55% twice. That's why, because I unticked it and ticked it. But you will see that there's marked for reassessment, and it's telling me that the system uptime is sitting at 55% and it's in the red. If this form would show if any controls had changed, so you'd see the control name in there, and that it's gone from partially effective to ineffective. Any changes or that are anything that's linked to this risk that has either gone out of breached its threshold, or a control that's changed, or child risk that's changed would end up in this reassessment window. So what it does is it gives you the ability to say, well, from a rating perspective now, the fact that the system's been down, I'm going to actually say that this availability of the system has gone from a very high impact and the likelihood's gone from a 2 to a 3. And I'm actually going to save it. You manually turn these off. So you say, well, I've now have reassessed this risk, and I'm going to save and close. So you've actually reassessed the risk now. The little exclamation mark's gone. If I go back into the risk just to show you, I've got the the ratings are now set to the new rating, which is down here. There's the 3, and you can always see the history. So if I click on view and click history, you'll see that if I just pull that out a bit here, that, on the 25th of the 7th, there was the previous value was 2, it's gone to 3. On every single item in the database, there's this history table, and it looks completely hectic, all these things, but BarnOwl tracks, whether you've linked something, unlinked something. It's not just the values, it's extensive audit trails built into the system. So same with key risk indicators. If I clicked on this key risk indicator and just click on that, you'll always see there's a view, and I can look at history, and you'll see when this key indicator was captured and edited and all those good things. So yeah. Right, so if I just go back to my slide, we showed the once-off configuration of financial periods. That's where you set the month and you create from April to March, for example. I created a key indicator and I set the thresholds on it. Remember the 95%, the 85, and the 0. I added an owner. I added myself. I've just shown you the risk reassessment where the risks with the little exclamation marks, as well as an email notification if it's set up like that. The reporting, I just wanted to show you what's in here. So if I just I'm going to go to my key indicators here. I'm going to click on key indicator values. Maybe I'll select all here in Joburg, so I can select all the units because I've got, I think, more key indicators. Maybe I probably deselected all of them. So now I'm looking at all my key indicators that I've got across this area. I could sort this, highest to lowest. I'm going to drag a few fields around here as well. Let's just take, just to give you an idea, financial period. It's probably best to sort it highest to lowest by the period number. The reason because I did ask, why are there 3 digits here, because you'd normally have year. Well, 4 digits for a year and then 2 digits for the month, the 090807, it's a period. The reason we've got 3 digits there is if you had a key indicator that was daily, you've actually got 30 in 1 month. So it would give you the number of the month and then the value, how many key indicators you've got per month. But in our particular case, we're just doing monthly ones. But let's just say I want to put that in front there. You'll see here that, again, on all the registers, there's an export. And you can get these, what we call, built-in reports. Now, these are flat register reports. So I just show whatever's on my screen basically ends up in a report like this, and you can export that to PDF. So it's sort of what you see is what you get. So whatever's on the screen, you can get a PDF export out of it. Now, just while we're there, because I know this comes up quite often, is if I go to DIY, we do have this ability, custom queries, and what this does is this can create, it'll be the subject for another session, but these kind of built-in queries, you'll see here, I've got the risk, I've got the objective, I've got the contributing factor, the controls, the action plan. So it creates an extract of of your risk register with all the linked items. And again, you've got that export, and you can say the register report. Now you've actually got everyone wants to see their risk register with everything that's linked to it. But like how you would see it in a flat Excel file. So, so you can select units and things like that. So I know it's a bit of an eye test there, but yeah, that's definitely an eye test. But if you export it to PDF, and then again, you can create which columns you need to see, and that kind of thing. So that's just something. So if you wanted more advanced key indicator reports, there are these custom queries that we can write that you automatically upload into the system. So back to the reporting. I'm not going to go through too much of this detail, but very quickly, this is our standard risk dashboard. So this dashboard is built by clicking refresh. It connects to the database and refreshes the data. So Power BI is very I suppose it's brilliant, but it's similar to Excel. If you had a data source connected to Excel, you would refresh it. So you refresh it, pulls in the data directly from the BarnOwl database, and you got what we call a whole lot of these sheets, and the little all of these obviously are interactive. So whatever you click on is how it filters the rest of them. We call these visualizations: top risks, control dashboard, action plan dashboard, loss events, loss event register. If I just move across here, risk trend, control trend. We got slices. You can go and select which part of the organizational structure you want to look at, the controls, the data periods. Obviously what we call filter. Microsoft calls them slices, that they basically filters, and obviously all of these are interactive. So you got the same thing on key indicators. So if you look at key indicators, you can track. Obviously, you can't easily track a key indicator that the type makes a lot of sense, because if you try and put annual and monthly mixed together, you're going to get a really weird trend. But you can select, specific business units, specific key indicator categories, subcategories, the actual key indicator, and you could then plot, your the actual and the target. I'm not going to go into all the detail here. Here's another one. You could expand into different units. You could drill down, key indicator by value, actuals versus targets, periods. Another view. So these are our standard views, and you would need, like you can see, you almost need quite a fully populated database to get something that makes sense. I've got this in ABC database, so I've got bits and pieces in different months. The key indicator financial year trend, KI, actuals versus targets. Just while we're going, we've got voting, tracking, control, rating, votes. So you've also got, so our main dashboards, by the way, or Power BI books, we call them workbooks. This one that I'm showing you is the risk one, which has the risks, the controls, the key indicators, the loss events, and the voting. Then there's an internal audit Power BI book, which is really excellent. You can track your findings by business unit, by process, track your projects. It's all drilled down into projects, even into order procedures and tests. So that if you guys don't have that, that's another good reason to, and you're using audit, it's a good reason to get to version 11. And then we've got a compliance Power BI book as well that tracks basically your CRMPs, but also tracks your compliance checklists and surveys. So those are the three main Power BI standard dashboard workbooks that we've got. I'm going to go back to the presentation now. I think I'm going to just show you very quick. I'm just going to skim through. So this will end up on the website. So the recap of what I've covered today will have all of this on it. And we'll put it as a PowerPoint, and not a PDF. Otherwise, all these fly-ins or slide-ins or whatever you call them will cover half the screens. So this exact example that I've been through today will be like step by step in BarnOwl. And I've just remembered the last step that I haven't done is to close off a period. So we did the reassessment. We viewed the reassessment. We re-rated the risk. There's the audit trail. I showed you the key indicator monitoring the built-in report. We've just done this, the Power BI. Now I'm going to just close the period. So if I go back to my BarnOwl, now if you're an administrator, I can go to General Setup. I can go to Financial Periods. I can go to the monthly, and I say I'm going to actually close April. So it's no longer open. So an administrator would now close that period. So if I logged in now and I went to key indicators, and I went to, let's just go to key indicators by unit. Oopsie, I'm just going to deselect these, deselect all, just click on the IT unit. I'm just going to go back here. Now, if I wanted to still add a value for April, you're going to see that period is closed. So let's just go back to April. I'll try and say, well, I want April. So this financial period is not open. So you see that's grayed out. So I cannot come in here. You see I captured 55%. I cannot come in here, and this form is read-only because it's closed. So I cannot change anything. So that's what we talk about closing a period. You'll notice that May is still open because I didn't close May. So it'll automatically say, well, the 16th of May, it knows that the period is from the 1st to the 5th to the 31st to 5th, and I could capture a key indicator for that. So that is how you close. The administrator could go here and close the key indicators for a particular period. So the fact that May's passed and June has passed, I'd probably close those. You'll now see that there's only July. And if I logged in and looked at my key indicators, you'll see that the system uptime, it hasn't put an exclamation mark in there yet. It is period 4, is July, because July hasn't come and gone yet. So I'm not behind. It's not overdue yet. The same on the landing page. You'll see their system uptime. It doesn't have a red exclamation mark against it. So I see it's 9:59. I'm going to open the floor soon to everyone. I'm going to just go back here. Showed you how to close it. A recap, we configured the periods, we close the closing off of periods, the capturing of key indicators. These are the main enhancements. Examples, I've put this in again, courtesy of ChatGPT, examples of key indicators. Went and also looked up leading key indicators and lagging key indicators. So there's some good examples there. And then very quickly, the easiest way really to upgrade BarnOwl is to just contact our support desk. But the whole idea is that BarnOwl can be self-upgraded. So the first thing you would do is look at the What's New document. So if I click on the What's New document, just to give you an idea, on the BarnOwl website, it should come up now. We've always got what the latest released version is. And don't know where it's gone now. There it is there. A bit of an eye test here. So under the client hub, we've got, let me just make this a bit bigger. You'll see that we've always got the What's New document. Also with links, online help links, we haven't completed all of them, but version 11.3, it'll tell you what's been done. Version 11.2.8, what's been done. So you can always, when you log into BarnOwl, it tells you what version you're on always. If I look at my BarnOwl here, there, the version is down here at the bottom, 11.3.0. And the same on the BarnOwl desktop app. You'll be able to see that. But essentially here, so the idea here is that you can self-upgrade, but if it's a major change, then you need to communicate to your users, and ideally, you need to do the upgrade into a UAT environment first. So not everyone has a UAT environment, but it is ideal. Sorry, I'm just going back here. So the What's New document, step 1. Then the BarnOwl minimum technical requirements, we update those every now and again. So that's they also link always on the website to the latest minimum requirements for your hardware. Check that. Then you would either go to our support hub login, there's a support, or you could request a copy from the BarnOwl support. That's basically support@barnowl.co.za. And we send you the upgrade files. And there's a process to upgrade, make full backups of all databases. I mean, your IT guys would help you with this. Ideally, a UAT environment should be upgraded first. You should check it and then warn your users that the system might, it should be communication that goes out to your user base when you're going to do an upgrade. And then in complex environments, where there's cab involved and, we've got quite a few clients like that, then we normally provide a quote to you when it's an involved process and we have to do the upgrade together with your IT. But it is actually quite a simple process, but the big corporates have complex processes often, and we need to get involved. Just showing the website. Don't forget, I'm not going to go to it now, but on the BarnOwl website, there's the client hub. There always are featured articles, our guides, our technical resources, tips and spotlights, presentations. So this particular spotlight will end up under tips and spotlights, and I think it might even end up on the featured. I can't. Cheryl looks after that and what goes where. There's the What's New document. And I'm going to open the floor now. I'm going to stop sharing. Cheryl's going to open the floor. See if there are any questions. Hopefully it's as clear as mud, as I always say. So you can unmute yourself if you've got any questions, please, and then just put your hand up, please. Amanda, go for it.
Morning. Now, I actually don't have a particular question. I've been through your what's new documents. We have upgraded to version 11, but I enjoyed your presentation thoroughly because it is actually twofold. It again showed how those web screens work, and that helped me a bit. So I just want to compliment you again. You are an excellent presenter. You make it so
Ah,
simple and understandable. So
no,
I have
thank
a
you.
question here, though. I've rewritten a bit of manuals for our own for our own organization, and I was told that those three dots are called ellipses, like you rightly
Mm.
say. But I don't have a word for that blocky with the arrow. Do you have a word for it?
Oh, where you actually where you open the risk on a page, for example.
Yeah, or where you go to the form, or where you
Yeah,
that
I
blue block with the arrow in it.
I don't no, I don't. I mean, I know
Yeah,
Ali's
so
on the call. I don't know if there's a particular um
or you can ask
uh
that friend of yours that you so
yeah, this little the blue block with an arrow. Yeah, well, we'll get back to you on that.
It's a, it
I
is really not a big it is just tongue in cheek, actually.
No, but it's true. I don't know what you would call that. It's a blue block with a little arrow. I'll just quickly share my screen again, just so that we're all on the same page. Let me just share here quickly. I was just looking. It's this little blue block here, that you're talking about.
Yes, it's that one.
Yeah, so when you go
Is
to
it?
risk, for
Is it?
example,
Can I give the doggy food?
go for it.
So that's the open button. That's the open icon. It opens up a new window or a new page.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
Amanda
so
was just asking if there's a particular call for a word for that. So we would call it the open button.
I will go for that in the meantime.
Open page or go to this page. I think that's probably a good word. Go to the page. Yeah. Great. Are there any other questions? Go for it, Mudrik. Uh, Mudrik, can you unmute? You should be able to. Oh,
Hi,
there we go.
Jonathan. Good morning. Sorry, I was trying to find the unmute button.
It's
Firstly,
okay.
firstly, thanks for the great presentation that you gave. I just got a question on the integration into our Arbutus. I'm assuming that we would have to also procure our Arbutus separately,
Yes,
or we should have it ourselves before we can integrate it into it.
yes, that's right. It would be it's a separate application. It's a separate tool. I mean, if you had something else, we could probably integrate. If you've already got a data analytics tool, but that would require work. But we've got our Boots is directly integrated. But you've still got to write the tests. Obviously it requires skills to write the tests of what transactions you want to analyze and what exceptions you're looking for. But those can then feed into BarnOwl and as a continuous risk management system. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
Okay. Thanks.
Jonathan, that's Ryder from Heineken. I'm just want to comment on the analytics as well, because we have ACL where we build our own scripts and all exceptions reports. Can they fit into BarnOwl for reporting?
We'd have to look at that. We have chatted to ACL in the past about whether they want to work with us, but with Diligent now, they compete with us. So I know they don't like integrating with us. So, but we could certainly explore that. We do know the Diligent guys very well, so we could
But,
we can look at that.
but I mean, for example, we have our own internal development where we build our own scripts based on whatever scenario we see, and we build these exception reports. It's only BarnOwl will it not be able to import? For example, you can export from ACL, you export to Excel, whatever template you make. Can BarnOwl import that for reporting?
Yeah, it could.
So John,
mean,
if I could just answer this question. When it comes to integration, we've obviously designed the KRI or the key indicator integration with Arbutus. However, we have a standard integration table with the fields mapped out, and we've got a document that says, okay, if this field is populated, this is where it will be imported to in BarnOwl. And that table is the integration table. So whatever export you get from ACL, as long as you can translate that into our integration table and insert into that table, then our integration process will pick that up and import it into BarnOwl.
Okay. No, that's great. That's actually more dynamic. Thank you.
Yeah, so it is possible. That's great. Yeah, good. Lilama?
Good morning, Jonathan. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I also work with Curious Indicators. However, I have not started to upload them on the BarnOwl system, but it will make it easier for me, knowing that it is possible. But my question is around the reporting. We're currently working with the top layer risks, and then we have tactical risk, and then we have lower risks, which are operational risks. So the question is it possible for an integrated sort of a report when you export the risk from the system? Because currently we are struggling with that. We currently have the middle and the strategic risks. But now how do we then create a report from BarnOwl with all the three linked together? Showing that it is top layer that is strategic, and then moves to the tactical, and then there are operational at the bottom.
Yeah, there is a standard report in BarnOwl, in the BarnOwl app, that shows parent-child. I think it goes down two levels, 2 or 3 levels, and also in BarnOwl Rich or the BarnOwl app, you can see the parent-child linkages, but it's only 1 level down. I think what the best would be is for you to send us an example of what report you would like, and to BarnOwl support or support@barnowl.co.za, and then we can look at it from there and give you some advice. Is that okay? That's the best.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that is fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Essentially, whatever information is in the system, we can get out in almost any kind of report format, but it does normally involve time and a quote. But we can create really very highly customized reports mainly in SSRS, which is SQL Server Reporting Services. But the standard ones come at no cost, and the ones that we have to create for customers come at a cost. Any other questions?
Jonathan?
Yes?
Yes, it's Edward Kluter speaking from Breda Valley Municipality.
Nice to see you, Edward. Nice to hear your voice.
Yes. First of all, I just want to congratulate you with the enhancement in terms of the KIs. I really think this will add value in assisting us with our risk maturity, taking it to the next level. Obviously, then to make provision also that we accommodate basically all the key indicator areas, the control, the contributing factor, as well as the risk is indicator. So really, thank you for that. As previously communicated to BarnOwl through your staff support system, obviously I have a huge interest in the maturity assessment tool, which I would want us to obviously engage, although there were a meeting arranged for end of August only. And I believe it's because of your busy schedule. Maybe that's something that you could consider to make it a bit earlier. However, I'm comfortable with the end of August. And I really like that report in the former thereof. So what now recently happened was monitoring and evaluation was then also assigned to municipalities. And I really think that is a huge advantage, also an opportunity for BarnOwl to be expanded to also service that focus area in terms of maturity assessments, which we obviously want to use as a pilot to expand the maturity platform, if I can call it that way. So I'm really looking forward to that engagement and how you can also assist us going forward. With regards to what you're now sharing regarding the KIs, we really welcome that. The unfortunate part in risk management, you can have the best systems, but when it gets to the implementation part, that's where you may still experience some challenges. So we will definitely take on board the KI processing, and we will then see how to best implement it through our change management program, making sure that we first consult, because ultimately people also receiving these type of best practice systems as a administrative burden, because now it's another level of reporting for them even, and to keep them accountable. So from my side and from Breede Valley Municipality side, we really using the BarnOwl system in all forms as a one-stop desktop. And we really welcome the current processes and the enhancements thereon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Edward. Thank you. Yes, I know we'll meet at the end of August. I'm sorry about that. It's just absolutely hectic. We're also making one or two changes to the risk maturity survey that's on BarnOwl Cloud. That's a separate application altogether. I think we have sent communication out to everyone. Well, we've tried to, but on our website you can actually take a free risk maturity survey. It's on the main page of the BarnOwl website. You go to the bottom and you can take a free risk maturity survey. We've done it together with an Australian company called GRC Ready. So it's a best practice risk maturity survey. You can log into BarnOwl Cloud, take the survey, actually send it out to other respondents. And you get a very nice report that comes out of the system. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that, we can put that as an import into your own BarnOwl. You know, the people that use BarnOwl in their own an on-premise, well, basically like you, Edward, the users of BarnOwl could have that survey, but it doesn't pop out with the fancy GRC report, but it's got all the Power BI and everything else. But we are making one little change to that survey to where it's a 1 to 5 scale, but we actually need a 0 as well for if the person responding to the survey is unaware. So it's not applicable, but it's unaware, initial, basic, advanced, established, leading practice. So that's why we've delayed it a bit, Edward, our meeting as well, because we're making minor changes.
Yes. Lastly, Jonathan, before anybody else, is just that when you guys do enhancements, you should really take note of our processes as well for Breede Valley Municipality, because as you are aware, we continuously not kind of develop our own processes, but we we continuously expand the system to be catered for us specifically. And whenever there's enhancements on Xens and all those platforms that we are using, that we are not negatively affected in terms of our processes. That may be just something that you should take note of, please.
Yeah. No, thanks, Edward. Thanks. I know it's difficult. It is. We do try and chat to our customers and see what they want. It's quite difficult sometimes balancing everything, but I know you guys are very advanced, so we will chat to you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jonas. Sorry, there's just a comment in the chat box asking if you could include the link to the risk maturity survey onto your presentation for today.
Okay. Let me go and do that quickly. Let me share my screen so it's not so you can see what I'm doing. So if I just go to here, if I could just go there, BarnOwl. So this is our website.
Jonathan, just a last question from my side.
Go for it.
All right, and I know maybe you would refer me to a login of an incident to the support system, but the issue for me also, Jonathan, is in our action plan dashboard, we specifically requested for the built-in of cancelled actions. If you can just look at that cancelled actions, because for the past how many years that we have that system now, for nearly 10 years now, we have not, or basically your support system have not covered the issue of when somebody select the option of cancel. And we still maintain it manually to put in future dates on that action plan, because it does not read into the percentages that is calculated. If that is something that you can maybe please assist and fast track that process, because some people, when they cancel, they're not necessarily selecting the date. Now they're receiving the same action plan, and then it gets to that frustration of, but I've already responded to this action. Why am I receiving this? And that is something that when we go 2 steps forward, it takes us back with the 1 step. And I really want you to look into that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Edward. Please either send the request again or just send us the ticket number, please. If, then we'll look at the ticket number that you're talking about.
8221, Jono.
8221. Okay. All right. We'll have a look at it, Edward, and get back to you on that. All right. Because what happens is, just a quick one. We obviously get hundreds of requests for enhancements, and we've got to try and put them into almost batches of on our roadmap and get to. We try and have the roadmap is hectic. We just got so many things in the pipeline that we're working on. But well, let's look at that one and see whether there's a workaround in the meantime. Great, excellent. Yeah, are there any other questions from anyone?
Jonathan, from my side, there's a few still, but I don't want to take over the platform, because it's not a one-on-one engagement.
We'll chat at the end of August, if that's all right, Edward. I know we've got a session set up, and then Jade will be on the call as well, and we can talk about all your agenda items.
Yeah, maybe if I may, just last time, is that on the action plans, when you work with action plans on the same platform in your different hierarchy in terms of where you allocate the action plan, is there maybe a way that one can differentiate between the action plans when you have to export? Because that thing is still making it a very complex, that you have to go through all the action plans and you have to now sort and sift only to get to your action plans. But that's maybe something that we can also take on in future in discussing how to resolve that.
Yeah, that would be an easy one to resolve. So let's meet, and then we'll go. Just the most important thing is which applies to everyone. The more detail we have when you log a ticket, either screenshots or an example of a report, or that helps us understand what the issue is. So yeah, if you could in advance of that meeting just send through what the agenda items and the details, please, Edward. So we got time to think about it before the meeting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Then lastly, Jonathan, apologies to the other colleagues, is that I just want to inform you also, we will, going forward in this financial year, already started, we will really actively work with the compliance management, but we will have a different take in terms of how to implement it, because on the BarnOwl system, the compliance management is a bit complex in terms of what you're presenting and how we should use it. But we will take a shorter route in terms of how to implement. But I will also share that with you and see how we can take hands in making sure that we create a smooth transition between the two processes. Thank you.
Thanks, Edward. Thanks. I see our time is basically up. Are there any other questions from anyone? You're welcome to email us as well. I think Cheryl at if it's a support call, then BarnOwl at support@BarnOwl. But otherwise, there's also an info. I think it's info@barnowl.co.za. If it's just a general request, email works pretty well. But yeah, if there are no other questions, I really think it's a great turnout today. I saw there were 86 people online, which was brilliant. So thank you very much for your time. We'll get the presentation up on the website soon, and you'll find it under the Client Hub on the BarnOwl website. So thank you very much. If there are no further questions, gone soon. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.